going back on the road in this Friday rewind, jumping into the film room with UNA assistant basketball coach Tom Berryman. We're revisiting North Alabama's regular season finale win over Florida Gulf Coast down in Fort Myers, Florida. And Coach Berryman, let's set the stage for this ball game. Huge implications on the final day of the regular season. We were tied with FGCU for 5th place in the conference standings. I think we could have finished as high as 3rd, as low as 7th maybe. What do you remember about the build-up heading into this one?
This was a big game. As you said, it was really tight with several teams there in the standings. We just knew going in to put ourselves in the best position for tournament play. This was a game we needed to get on the road. We also had a really hard-fought win over Florida Gulf Coast at home where we won by 5. So we were expecting a really tough game from them. And we knew, obviously, from their standpoint, it was a big game as well. It was also senior day, a lot of emotion in the building. So we knew that our guys needed to be on their A game for this one going in.
Let's jump into the film room and watch some of the highlights from this ball game in Alico Arena, Fort Myers, Florida. A tough place to play, and this was an odd game where I think we had a home game on a Thursday and then a quick turnaround going on the road that Saturday. What was the preparation like?
When you have that turnaround, it's tough. You don't get much of a practice the day before because you still want your guys to be able to recover from Thursday's game. It's also a long trip for us down to Fort Myers. So most of the day was in the airport or on the bus. So we really just had to trust our guys, remembering a lot of the scouting report from the first game, and then also maybe a few updates on film preparation. But really, you just have to kind of trust your principles at that point in the season, with it being the last game of the year.
Florida Gulf Coast would strike first, and we're going to see something on UNA's first possession. I feel like we saw a lot last year, and that was the freshman and all-conference performer in Mervyn James getting things going. How big of a spark plug has he been last year?
Well, Mervyn had a heck of a freshman year. That's why he was on the all-freshman team in the league. He's just an active player, can do a lot of different things, really versatile, but just a guy that impacts the game in a lot of different ways. And here you see him starting us off with a bucket on our first possession.
The theme for Florida Gulf Coast in this first half will be three-point shooting. 7th in the ASUN in three-point shooting. How much of a shock was it for you guys to see them get so hot early on?
Well, we were trying to keep them out of the paint. They have a few guys that we really tried to locate, but they really got it going. Had some guys that maybe normally don't make as many threes, really got going, and we just had to tell our guys to continue to trust the game plan. We weren't going to change up much based on some results there in the first half. But we just had to keep responding, and there Jamari did a great job driving in, getting an and one to get the game back tied up.
And then we'll see Jamari and Mervyn hook up right here on the defensive end. And I know defense is a big part of what you guys enjoy seeing.
Well, yeah, Coach Pahol believes in playing a lot of pressure defense. I believe in this game. We turned them over, I think, 13 times in the first half. Our guys really impacted the game early. We were extremely disruptive, as you could see there with Jamari and Mervyn.
We're going to see 3 threes from Florida Gulf Coast over these next 4 highlights. They hit their first 4 from downtown. And when a team's hitting like this, do you start looking at changing things up defensively?
Occasionally. Zach Scott's a really good shooter. We didn't get a hand up. He's a guy you always have to know where he is. A few more of them may have been guys that we were a little more comfortable shooting, that just made shots that maybe they normally don't make. But you just have to keep responding. You have to play for 40 minutes. And there you see us with a quick response in transition, trying to answer.
Florida Gulf Coast will hit another 3 right here, 4 of 4 to open up the ball game. And while FGCU's going inside these next 2 highlights, we're going to see UNA go inside with Manny Littles and Mervyn James.
Here you see Manny slipping a ball screen to the rim and making a great play. Manny just had a tremendous improvement this year on the offensive end from his freshman year. I think a lot of credit of that goes to Coach Ahmad Smith and his work with Manny on a daily basis. Good defense there. As you talked about earlier with, Coach Pahol is always going to have a huge emphasis on the defensive end. But here's a little quick isolation play for Mervyn. We went small, and so Mervyn was at the 5 spot for us there. We thought he had a quickness advantage and a quick little high post isolation for him.
Now, off of the turnover right here, as one of the offensive coaches, I know you have to love this. All 5 guys are going to touch the ball on this sequence.
Coach Pahol really preaches to our guys not to let the ball stick, especially in transition. And so, once you get an advantage, you got to keep the defense on the run. There we do a tremendous job of that. Great drive and dish by Peyton to Mervyn. Really makes you happy to seeing the unselfish play on the offensive end like that.
And then the 10th turnover from Florida Gulf Coast in the first half. They were hitting the threes, but the defense was still there.
Right, absolutely. As we mentioned earlier, we were really disruptive in the first half. Just had to try to stay the course with their hot shooting and continue to answer on the offensive end. Here you see Jamari kind of with a mismatch on a bigger guy, doing a great job of getting into the paint.
Another Florida Gulf Coast three right here. 7 of 11 for three in the first half. That would change in the second half. But the Eagles would kind of extend the lead out late in the first half. What about the resolve of the guys to finish strong? Another Jamari drive.
Yeah, our guys just stayed the course. There were some times that, they got hot and went on some runs, but we just kept talking to them at the timeouts, immediate timeouts or what have you that, just got to stay the course, keep responding, don't get rattled. And our guys did a really good job of not panicking, just continue to play, attack the rim. Threes weren't falling for us in the first half. I believe at this point we still had not made a three in the first half, and they made seven or eight of them. But here right at the end of the half, we did a great job, great advance pass by Jamari in transition to Peyton. I believe that's our first three of the first half. That shot gave us a lot of momentum going into halftime, feeling like we didn't shoot it well. They shot it really well, and to still be tied on the road, we were feeling pretty good about ourselves at this point.
31-31, your halftime score. Another look, Peyton Youngblood, the fist pump after tying the ball game up at 31. At the half, what are you guys talking about as coaches?
We talked about we've got to stick to the scouting report. They had some guys that made some threes that normally don't shoot it quite that well. We wanted to just continue to be efficient on the offensive end, try to attack the paint and keep sharing the ball. And then defensively, we just had to keep guarding, keep being disruptive, and stay the course if they made a run.
And here's Manny Littles. What about the pass out of the low block?
Yeah, great job by Manny. He was a guy that really developed this year on the offensive end as an unselfish player, does a lot of things to help our team win. And when it's there, we want Manny to go to work when he's got one-on-one. If he draws a double team, he's got to trust the teammates and kick it out there, and he did a great job of that to Jamari.
So right here, here's the turnover. Florida Gulf Coast is going to score, but what about the quick turnaround from this offense catching the Eagles napping?
You got to keep playing. Jamari does a great job of finding Merv in transition. Merv makes a great Euro step and for a quick answer. And as you see at this game, every time, Florida Gulf Coast seemed to get some momentum, we kept responding.
Another three try right here. They didn't hit a lot in the second half from three, but here in just a second, we're going to see Jamari Blackman sneak in. Jamari, we saw him drive a lot. He's going to hit some big threes, but here he is off of a miss, offensive rebound and putback.
Yeah, Jamari scores in a lot of ways. He doesn't score off many offensive rebounds, but this was a big one here. Really big momentum play for us, for him to get in there. Tough finish over, I believe Brian Thomas, a really good shot blocker. But Jamari just fearless there going to the rim.
Big three from Florida Gulf Coast to make it an 8-point lead. But then C.J. Brim really seemed to become a spark plug in the second half.
Yeah, Florida Gulf Coast switches screening action on defense a lot. So C.J. had some mismatch opportunities against bigger guys and really used his speed to be a problem either getting to the rim, you saw in the first clip, or there kicking to James Anderson when the help came for James to get a good look.
And again, this play started on the drive from C.J. Brim, resulted in the three from Jamari Blackman. Then the bench is going to get involved. Here's James Anderson with a floater to tie the game up after he was fouled.
Yeah, James is a guy that draws a lot of attention on the perimeter by the way he shoots it. And so at times when the defense has to close out on him hard, he does a great job of straight line driving to the rim. There's a tough finish for the and one.
And again, here's the rebound king, Manny Little's going to work a mismatch against the smaller guard.
Maybe not Manny's prettiest move of the year, but definitely effective there. Continue to see the offensive progression from Manny this year, which was great. He's always been a guy that rebounded the ball well. As you can see here, that's just Manny being Manny. That's what he does. That's why he led the league in rebounding. He's just relentless on the offensive glass, and a huge bucket there to tie the game up with just over 4 minutes to go for us.
Manny would finish 10 points, 9 rebounds in the ball game. Another strong drive from C.J. Brim. Down 3, here we go. Now it's time for the clutch situation. 5-point ball game, under a minute left, makes it a 3-point ball game. What's the huddle like during this point being down on the road?
It was calm. Nobody panicked. Just trying to make sure that everybody's on the same page here with defensive coverages, knowing what we're doing. Are we going to trap? Are we going to foul? If so, who are we going to foul? A lot of information that goes on in these timeout situations here. And here after the foul and the made free throw, we're down 5 with 35 seconds left. Doesn't look great, but we just know we've got to execute. We got to get a bucket right here. And nobody panicked. But as a coach here, sometimes these are the best ones. Jamari just making a play on his own. Nothing great that we drew up. He just made a heck of a shot right there to get it back to a 2-point game. And at this point, we just know we've got to get after it in the press and hopefully, force a turnover.
How much did that three spark this play here with guys just diving all over the floor?
Oh, it was great. I think this is maybe this is just a Tony Pujols staple right here. Multiple guys getting on the floor. Merv being first to the floor, which is what we preach here anytime there's a loose ball. And because he was able to draw a foul with Florida Gulf Coast defender jumping on top of him. And then Merv being a freshman here on the road, going to the line down 2, with 15, 10 seconds left, whatever it was. Heck of a job by Merv to step up in a big moment and knock both of them down to tie the game.
So we've rallied the tie. How nerve-wracking is this, knowing you've got to make one more stop?
Hey, that's what we do. We try to get stops. That's what we preach every day. And we got Jamari on Caleb Caddo here. We knew they probably were going to go to Caddo. He's their best offensive player. Just heck of an individual defensive effort by Jamari to force a tough shot and get the game to overtime.
All right, we're heading to overtime, tied up at 63. Playoff seeding on the line. And Florida Gulf Coast will strike early, but what's the poise like from this team? Again, we're going to see several players get involved. CJ Brim would score 7 of his points in overtime. How nice was it seeing so many guys step up?
It was great. Our guys just never flinched. Every time in this game, it seemed like something didn't go our way. We just kept responding. There was a huge shot by CJ to give us some momentum, to give us the lead there with a few minutes left in overtime. And our guys just, stayed the course. Big shot there off the pull-up by Christian. And at this point with the lead, we just got to know we got to get stops and be efficient with the ball. Can't turn it over. Got to be tough with the ball and knock down free throws if they foul us.
Jamar Blackman would finish with a game-high 22. But, again, it's going to be C.J. Brim, probably the smallest player on the court, closing the game out right here.
Huge bucket. C.J. rejecting the ball screen, using his quickness to get to the rim. Huge shot in the game right there to give us some separation late.
Now, we had a big road win earlier this season against Lipscomb. CJ is going to ice it out. The clock's going to run out. Just how satisfying of a win was this, given the rally, given the history with Florida Gulf Coast?
Huge win. I mean, anytime you're down 5 with, 30 seconds left and they're somehow able to pull out the win, just unbelievable job by our guys staying the course, never panicking, trusting each other, trusting Coach Pujols. And our guys just did an unbelievable job to respond every single time. It looked like things weren't going our way in this game.
5 players would finish in double figures. The 7 guys that played the majority of the ball game, this is what I want to close on. They're all coming back. They'll be part of Team 3. The new pieces coming in as well. I know this win has to carry a lot of momentum over into year 3. How excited are you guys?
We're extremely excited about this year's team. We feel like we've got a lot of, key contributors coming back, and then we're excited about some other guys, we've added to the mix as well. We feel like our team this year will be deeper than we've ever been. We feel like we've got talent from top to bottom across the roster. We've got a lot of versatility, so be able to play a lot of different lineups. We can go small, we can go big, but really just excited about, the growth of our guys from year 1 to year 2. And just hoping to continue that on here to year 3.
Coach Berryman, thanks for jumping into the film room with us on this Friday.
Absolutely, my pleasure.